Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. Hey, fans, we have a great show for you today. Today, we continue on with our MLB Pipeline Dodgers Top 30 Prospect Series, this time on right-handed pitcher, 2021 draftee, Nick Nastrini out of UCLA. And Nick, I'll tell you what, since he's become a Dodger, he's super excited about it. One, because he's a local boy. He grew up in San Diego, actually went to the same high school as Austin Barnes. And then two, he just loves how the Dodgers develop their players, especially their pitchers. He will tell you that Rob Hill has been instrumental in his career so far since he's become a Dodger. Ryan Denick, Dave Anderson, and even John Shoemaker back with Rancho. He'll go on and on and on about him. So Nick Nastrini could not be happier to be a Dodger. He's very excited about it, and I'm very excited to bring you this prospect feature. But before we get to all that, just a reminder, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. Become a subscriber. Once you subscribe, turn on those notifications. Click that notification bell. That way, each time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified and you won't miss a thing. And that way, Dodgers Daily can keep growing and we can keep providing you content like this in the future. Okay, let's get to it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to our prospect feature on Nick Nastrini, and let's talk some Dodgers baseball. Nastrini, as I mentioned just a minute ago, 2021 draft pick out of UCLA, fourth round. And so, you know, he is ascending very fast. The Dodgers saw enough in him from his career at UCLA to draft him in the fourth round, and for very good reason. He is absolutely proving them right. The first thing you need to notice about him is look at those tree trunks he has for legs. You know, pitchers get most of their power from their core and then, you know, their hips and their butt and then their legs and all that. So, you know, he's very powerful on the lower half. Look at that fastball, 94. He sits around 95. That gun with Great Lakes is, you know, sometimes it's off maybe a mile an hour, sometimes two, sometimes more than that. But, you know, so he sits 95. Then you see that changeup. That's at 85, and that's a perfect mix. And there's that slider at 86. That's a perfect mix because anytime you're off speed, there's an 87 slider, is 10 miles an hour off of your fastball, there's a 94. If you can get close to that 10 mile an hour difference, that really makes it to where it's slow enough to throw the hitter off balance, but then it's fast enough to where they can't just regroup and keep the hands back and hit it. That's that perfect mix, 10 mile an hour is. And he has that for the most part with the 95 mile an hour fastball, the 85 mile an hour changeup that you just saw in that last picture, give or take a mile an hour here or two. Okay, so again, like I said, he grew up in San Diego, so he's super excited about being a Dodger. 6'3", 215 pounds, full of muscle, 23 years old. So far, his career stats, his ERA, as a professional, just overall, there's a good look at Nick Nastrini right there. He has an ERA overall in his career. That's Carson Taylor catching. I love that young man. I think he's going to have a big year this year. ERA overall 3.72, whip 1.10. That tells you just how good his stuff is. You know, that walks and hits per inning. I love that because, you know, if your whip is good, look at the depth on that slider. That may have been his curveball, actually, 4-pitch mix. We'll get into talking about what has been. There's a slider right there. So that last one may actually have been a curveball. Sometimes it's hard to tell because a lot of these Dodgers pitchers, what they do, there's another slider. They just add depth to their slider and still call it a slider, but it looks more like a curveball, so it's hard to tell. And there's another one right there that had a lot of depth to it. Okay, so that walks and hits per inning, I love that stat because that tells you, A, do you have good control? Are you walking guys? And B, you know, is there a good mix between not walking guys but not being too hittable and giving up too many hits? So if you're not giving up very many hits, I love that pitch, 82 mile an hour. That's probably his curveball, just looking at the velocity of that at 82. So if you're not giving up very many hits, then you're not walking very many people, then you're making the other team earn everything. That's what that stat whip tells you about a pitcher. There's that big curveball at 78 miles an hour. Okay, his batting average on balls in play, check this one out. You know, every time a hitter puts the ball in play on Nick Nastrini, their batting average is just 167. That tells you how good his stuff is that you're seeing on this screen. You just saw that changeup right there up in the zone. There's that curveball again at 80 miles an hour. He gives up about 34.5% ground balls. His K percentage, check this one out. So we talked about, the batting average of balls in play, which is absolutely 100% completely elite at 167. You want another elite stat for Nick Nastrini? How about his strikeout percentage at 35.6%? So he's striking out a whole lot of guys, 35.6% strikeout rate, which is absolutely, completely, totally, and entirely elite. And then even when hitters aren't striking out and putting the ball in play, they only hit 167 off of Nick Nastrini. That's why the Dodgers are so high on him. That's why he's ascending the ranks so fast. You're seeing it on the screen here. Look at that four-seam up in the zone. So you've seen his changeup, his slider, his curveball. Now you're seeing his four-seam. Okay, his home run to fly ball rate, 23.5% in Tulsa. That needs to come down. So you say, well, okay, why isn't Nick Nastrini already in the major leagues? Well, the one thing that he did do last year, and we talked about his batting average on balls in play was good, but a lot of the times, his ground ball percentage being only 34.5%, the average ground ball rate in the major leagues is like 40 to 43%, just give or take a year. So he gives up more fly balls than the average hitter in the major leagues or a professional hitter will hit. So he's giving up a lot of fly balls, which means that translated into giving up too many home runs. Okay, his home run for fly ball rate was 23.5% in Tulsa. The average home run fly ball rate for a professional hitter is somewhere around 10%. Like I said, give or take. That's Jose Ramos' great catch. Give or take about 10%. Okay, so he needs to reduce, not going to sugarcoat it, he would be the first one to say it, I'm sure. Needs to reduce the home run per fly ball rate, needs to reduce the home runs, period. And the home run for fly ball rate needs to come down to about 10%. Okay, so he needs to reduce that by about 10 to 15%, about 13%. And then his hits per nine, I should say, he gave up just 5.79 hits per game. So, not even one hit for every other inning. And his strikeout to walk ratio was over 3. And anything over 2.5 is good. So his strikeout to walk rate is over 3. So everything is good except for every once in a while he'll hang a pitch, or too often he'll hang a pitch, and then that pitch will end up being a home run. And so, like I said, if he'll just bring the home run rate down, just not give up as many home runs, this guy is going to be dominant. He's going to be, again, his ERA has been good. It's been 3.72 for his career. That's good. His whip has been good at 1.10, and that's with that home run rate. So imagine if he took his home run rate from 23.5 just down to, say, 13%. Okay, now you're talking about a guy with an ERA that's probably sub 2. That's dominant. That is the future of Nick Nastrini. That's what's going to end up happening with him, in my opinion. That's the potential he has. And again, it's a 4-pitch mix. He has that four-seam that we mentioned just a minute ago that sits around 95. His changeup, for the most part, we just saw it. I believe that was his changeup on that pitch. Hard to tell. Sometimes a changeup looks like a slider, especially when this camera's a little bit cockeyed. There's the four-seam up. And again, on that Loons gun, that's probably a 95, 96. So 4 pitches, four-seam, sits around 95. Changeup is 10 miles an hour off of that at 85. There is that little curveball, slider-looking pitch, kind of in between, kind of a slurvish-looking pitch. His slider's 86, 87, and his curveball, as we've seen on this screen, is 78 to 80, sometimes as high as 82. There's that curveball, like I said, 78 to 80, sometimes up to 82, and then there's that curveball again. So you saw 2 curveballs in a row, one at 80, one at 82, and then there's that four-seam at 94. It's probably more like 95, 96. So he has everything to offer. He has the big fastball to begin with. There's a 95. The big fastball, there's that 10 mile an hour off. You saw 95, then an 85. So he has the big fastball to begin with. He's probably going to be touching 96, 97 before he's done with his career. Then he has the off speed that's 10 mile an hour off. Then he also has a slider-looking pitch and a changeup and a curveball. So a 4-pitch mix. He has everything to offer. And again, when guys hit him, they don't hit them hard. And, with the batting average, again, I'm going to say the batting average and balls in play just 167. His strikeout percentage is 35.6, which is insane. Okay, so literally just one thing left for Nick Nastrini, and that would be to not allow quite as many home runs. And once he does that, like I said, you're talking about a pitcher that's going to be totally elite. So I hope you enjoyed our prospect feature on Nick Nastrini, 4th-round draft pick, 2021 out of UCLA. Like I said, he is so excited to be a Dodger, being a local boy there from San Diego, and he is so excited about the developmental system and how he is developing through the system. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video on Nick Nastrini as part of our MLB Pipeline Dodgers Top 30 Prospects. I hope you watch all the other ones. The other one released today was on Eddie's Leonard. As we wind our way through all the 30 top prospects, we release a new video for each one of them. Just about every day, and sometimes every other day. But check out all the other videos and all the in this series and all the other videos on Dodgers Daily as well. Hey, before we get out of here, just one more reminder: if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. Become a subscriber. Once you subscribe, okay, turn on those notifications. Click that notification bell. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified. Dodgers Daily can keep growing at that point, and we can keep providing you content like this in the future. As always, I want to say thank you for tuning into this video, and go Dodgers.